learners, welcome to this course. Today we will be discussing about, the stakeholders and their roles in the process of anti-human trafficking. We have already discussed the role of the police in the entire system of human trafficking, then the role of the administration, and then the role of the tehsildar in the last session. And today we will discuss the role of other stakeholders. Before that, to start the session, I would like to introduce my colleague, Dr. Anand Gupta.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So today we will say that education plays a very important role in a welfare state. The rehabilitation of victim is not that important, but reintegration of the victim in the society is very important, because if you rehabilitate the victim in proper sense, that is that you are reintegrating that person, otherwise he will be re-trafficked. So the generation of the traffic may fall into hands of the culprit and may be re-trafficked. So you have to stop re-trafficking. So the Department of Education has to play a very important role. First role is that, quality education has to be there at all levels. If people are illiterate, how will they know about their rights? How will you remove their vulnerabilities? So quality education has to be there. Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, has to be there at the roots. Dropout children are there. Children go for midday meal. These are the realities of life, everyday life. So we have to reduce these vulnerabilities. It is not that, you are able to sustain them. It is not that you are able to provide them balanced, nutritious diet at home and still they are venturing out for midday meal. It is that they are not able to sustain themselves, they do not get proper nutritious diet, so they go to the schools, and the dropout ratio also increases because, we have education institutions, the schools and colleges 300 kilometers from a village or 200 kilometers from a village, with so many cases of, kidnapping, abduction, rape. So the parents are not secure enough to send their children. The parents are not oriented enough to send their children. So education at the local level, education in the village, skill-based education is also very important. Learner-centric education and education with options of earning and gaining experience is also very important. Yes, Dr. Anand.
Yeah. Now, it is said that knowledge is power.
Yes.
And knowledge can be gained through education only. And most of the victims are, we know, come from very humble background, from illiterate background, from they come from poor families. So they have very little chance to get the educations due to various factors, as Dr. Mansi pointed out. So providing them free education and education in congenial environment which is suited to their needs, and not only the education, academic education, but vocational education, skill-based education, as Dr. Mansi pointed out, is very important, because earning is very important. After getting education, if the victims get, victims are in a position to earn something, that will definitely help them. And rehabilitation has a very wide meaning. Rehabilitation is not limited to providing financial assistance, etc. Economic rehabilitation is important, definitely, but all round rehabilitation can be done only by education. If someone is educated, he will be able to live a dignified life in the society. He will be able to get a good job. He will have a good status in the society. He will be well informed. He will get all the information. He will be able to read newspapers, watch television programs, of educational programs. So education has a very important role, especially for the lives of uh, vulnerable people.
Yes, because you have to be educated, and when I say you have to be educated, it is just not reading and writing your name
Yeah, yeah,
or your address. It is quality education what we are talking about, and quality education cannot be compromised if we
yeah.
are talking about the fifth generation of
Yeah,
human
yeah,
rights.
and quality education includes, as you rightly pointed out, creating a right kind of culture,
Yes.
culture of human rights, culture of dignified living, culture of giving respect to women. So it's not about earning money. It's also about making a person a good citizen.
Yes, holistic development of the
Yeah,
mind,
yeah,
of the
yes,
body, of
yes,
the soul.
yeah.
So, now we will discuss about the medical and health. How does
Yeah.
the medical practitioner, what is the role of the medical practitioner in human trafficking? So, all types of medical care and attention of the victims is very important because, we have seen in cases of sexual offenses, lot of transmitted diseases like HIV and
Uh,
other diseases spread, and they are not aware about these diseases. They have no control because they are forced into sex. Even small children suffer a lot of abuse, lot of physical trauma, lot of physical pain, and grievous hurt. So the medical and health department can play a very important role in prevention, in rehabilitation of the victims or survivors of human trafficking, as medical examination play a very important role even at the stage of
yeah,
investigation.
right, right.
So, a medical practitioner, I know that all the doctors are very busy these days, but if you happen to see a case of human trafficking wherein you have to do examination, then doctors have to be very humble because that person has suffered so much of trauma. So maybe he will not be outspoken. It is not that we go to the hospital and we just tell our problems. Maybe the person will not be able to speak up because he does not knows your language. There's a language barrier, there's a culture barrier, there are emotional barriers, there are psychological barriers. So, how to examine a person who is a victim of human trafficking needs proper training at all levels. And NGO intervention also plays a very important role because this medical report of the doctor is always taken into consideration at the time of the trial. So it's not only mapping the physical injuries but also the psychological harm with the help of psychologists, and medical attention should be immediately given to the person who has been trafficked to reduce his distress and
You
traumatization.
made a very valuable point, because it's not about physical health, it's
Yes.
about the mental health also. So psychological or psychiatric treatment wherever required should also be provided to the victims. And medical facility should be without any cost. It should be freely available to the victim, because the victim is not in a position to pay anything, and it should be hassle free, as Dr. Mansi has pointed out, that medical professionals are very busy people. So there should be a proper facility of providing medical aid hassle free to the victims.
Yes, so that they are not re-traumatized, because
Yeah.
if you make them sit for hours for for so many visits, sometimes somebody goes, a victim goes in the morning until evening, his medical examination has not been carried out. So the period which is lost,
And
you
delay
are
also
losing evidence.
delay also destroys
Yes,
important evidence.
evidence. So that is very important that you do the medical examination as soon as possible, and all the things are recorded. Doctors are the best people to do the medical examination, but with a humane mind. If they do it with a humane mind, with sensitivity, and while understanding the complex nature of a person who has been trafficked, then they will be able to do justice to the victim, and that medical report will lead to conviction of the offender. So doctors can play a very important role. Even in for they interact with the victim after the rescue. So they are the first people who are interacting with the victim. So a humanly touch is sometimes very important. And during the trial, if your first interaction with the public authority is good, then you feel and you have that trust element which Anandji was just talking about. And now we will discuss about the role of Panchayat Raj. So,
Yeah.
Panchayati Raj institutions play a very important role, Anandji.
Yeah. Panchayats, we know, are the grassroots level administrative body and grassroots level elected body also. So, Panchayat has a very important role in every respect, starting from creating awareness, uh, appre- uh, apprehending culprits, and investigation also, because panchayat people are directly in touch with the village people, they know the village conditions, so they can help in investigation also. Uh, so Panchayat can also help in uh, implementing the welfare schemes, the schemes related to education, schemes related to providing vocational trainings, skill-based training, uh, providing health services, and other welfare services, providing meals, even midday meals in schools, because if the panchayat are vigilant, then the midday meal schemes are not misused. It has been seen that sometimes stale food is given to the children. If the panchayats are vigilant, uh, if they keep watch on the activities of the village, they can play a very important role in the field of human trafficking.
Yes, they can be a very important role in creating awareness about different things at local level in the local language. So
Yeah.
panchayat can play a very important role in preventing human trafficking, because if the vulnerabilities are removed, then people will not be trafficked. They will not be vulnerable, and then the traffickers will not be able to catch up. So they also play a very important role in getting information. So we have, informers in the villages. So they play a very important role, that if something like this is carried out by a trafficker, then that person can be, taken to the police officials. And now we will be discussing about the role of prosecutors.
Yeah.
So a prosecutor has a very important role. The correct law should be reported at all the police station. The correct procedure should be followed. Arguments for the police, judicial custody, objecting bail to the traffickers, production of material object is the role of the prosecution. Recording statements of victim and witnesses under section 164 CRPC, issuing, getting the search warrant issued for rescue of victims, from the clutches of the traffickers is very important. Then victim witness care and protection directions are very important, and prosecutors play a very important role in getting the direction.
Actually, prosecution is the backbone of criminal justice system,
Yes.
and prosecutors are generally, they are the government lawyers, government advocates who are public prosecutors. So they, as Dr. Mansi pointed out, that they have a major role in ensuring that the proper procedure is followed by police in investigation, and evidence are properly appreciated, properly the evidence which the police has collected is properly placed before the court, so that the conviction can be obtained from the court in cases where conviction is required. It has been seen that sometimes, because the victims are poor people, it has been seen that sometimes their cases are not taken seriously by prosecution department. So this helps. I mean, this helps in. This prevents the justice being done to them,
Yes.
and
Leads to acquittal of the
leads
accused
to
person.
lead to the acquittal. It has been seen that in many of the cases, because the case was not properly argued in the court, a good cases of convictions leads to acquittal. So,
Yes.
so this is the kind of culture which is required in the prosecution department. They should treat themselves as public servant. The social, the human face of prosecution department is very important.
Yes. First is that they have to be well versed with the case details.
Yeah.
So if they do not read the file, if they are not aware about the case, if they do not reach at the dates, then it is very difficult to get justice. And sometimes, even for recording of the statements, there are so many dates and people do not go. So, prosecution can play a very important role in bringing technological interventions. We have seen a lot of camera trials happening in the court and getting justice. Where witnesses and victims are recording their statements and sending it, or online camera trial has been there. So, the prosecutor plays a very important role in getting justice for the victim and his family members. It is very important that the prosecution, with the help of counselor, support the victim and help him in getting over the trauma. Then the legal steps should be there, like home verification, release certificate under the law, so that the prosecution is able to get the home verification done and to get the release certificate under the Bonded Labor Abolition Act. And compensation can also be provided under the Act. So prosecution plays a very important role, as just Anand said, that you have to have a human face. Pre-trial counseling is very important.
Yeah, this is very
Vetting
important.
of draft and charge sheet and getting non-bailable warrants issued against absconding offenders is very important. Mock trial and preparing the victim to speak up, because victim has never been in the court of law. So if you interact with the victim and his family members, that how will you behave in the court, how will you make your statements in the court of law, because court has a limited time and they have to decide on a case. So if you start from scratch, maybe the court will not have that much of time. So how to speak, what to speak, so that the prosecution leads to conviction. And trial monitoring is a very important role, as Anandji just said, during trial, because if you are able to monitor the trial, and if you are able to be able to present in every hearing, and you are actively participating in every hearing, then that will lead to justice to the victim and his family member. And you can link up with the police official so that they provide timely production of witnesses, documents, materials, exhibits, expert reports, etc. And to ensure the safety of the person and the safety of the witnesses also, prosecution plays a very important role. And they can move the court for stringent punishment, minimum mandatory punishment, fine along with punishment for convicted persons. If that person is a repeat offender, habitual criminal, then seek enhanced punishment under the law and move the court for closing down the eviction of places of exploitation as per the existing law. Then, filing counters and appeals filed by accused in convicted cases, then filing appeals over acquittal cases. These are the roles of the prosecution. Yes,
And prosecution, now it is believed that prosecution department should be separate from the police department.
Yes.
It should not be a part of the police department, so that the prosecution can be done impartially.
Yes. So now we will be discussing the role of judiciary, because judiciary plays a very important role. We have talked about 3 P's, prevention, protection and prosecution. And judiciary can play a very important role in addressing all these 3 P's, because the last and final word is the delivery of justice, and redressal of grievances lies with the judiciary. So the final verdict comes from the judiciary. Fixed priority for trial is very important. If you have a trial after years, after 20 years, 30 years, then you cannot have justice in the case. Then scheduling the dates, times as per the need is very important. Using technology in providing justice to the victim, in getting the examination done, in cross-examination, in getting the statements recorded is very important. In-camera proceeding is also very important. And to provide a victim-friendly ambience in the court, especially when the victim is a child, a girl, or even if a traumatized person, because the traumatized person needs special care and a special treatment. So the state should be friendly. It should not be that somebody is standing and looking down upon the person, but somebody who is looking with a heart, looking with a human mind. So that is very important. The way the judge, interacts with the victim and his family members, or interacts with the accused, is very important in the trial process.
In fact, doing justice is the job of the judiciary.
Yes.
And there may be situations where the prosecution is not able to present the case in proper manner due to various reasons. So, though it is the duty of the judiciary to apply the correct law, to appreciate the evidence in correct manner, and to do speedy justice, because when there is a delay, 2 years, 3 years delay, the important evidence is lost. People have a very, if you ask somebody about an incident after 2 or 3 years, his memory, he may not be able to recall all the facts.
Yes.
So, speedy justice is very important, and applying the correct law and giving justice to the victim as far as possible. And as Dr. Mansi pointed out, the atmosphere of the court should not be, a kind of atmosphere which creates a kind of fear in the mind of victim. there should be a human face. The judges should interact with the victim in a very polite manner, very humane manner, so that the victim has the confidence and victim has the trust that he can tell her story to the
Even
court of
recording
law.
of the statements in the chamber
Yeah.
is very important initiative. A lot of judges do recording in the chamber because if the case so demands that the victim is very traumatized and is not able to appear before the accused, then sometimes
Yeah,
they record
yeah,
the
and we have seen it's a common knowledge that the culprits, the accused, lawyers try to, create all kind of conditions in the court that the victim is traumatized. The victim get awed. She will not, she may not be in a position to tell because she is asked various types of questions, unrelated questions, uh, uh, which touch upon its dignity. It is the duty of the court to ensure that the victim is not further victimized by the lawyers of the accused
during the trial.
during the trial. Yeah.
Yes, and forensic plays a very important role. The in-camera proceeding, use of technology can play a very important role in the justice delivery system. And now we will be talking about community vigilance. Every citizen of India should feel that responsibility to inform the police if any crime happens. Even prevention is very important. So if you suspect somebody, then you should also report it to the beat officer. And time and again, I have been, requesting you all to have the information of your area beat officer because many few of us know about the beat officers. So you have to interact with them, you have to know their number so that in case of need, they are very near to your location. So they can be easily contacted.
And the court should also utilize the services of trained counselors,
Yes.
psychologists, social workers who know the situation better, people who are working in the area of human trafficking. So they will be in a better position to tell the court about the real situation, because the courts, the judges may not have the expertise to deal with socially sensitive issues. So the aid of social workers, psychologists, etc., is also very important, which the court
Yes,
should.
counselors also play a very important role in this, as just Dr. Anand said. And technical help is also there. Many times the court asks for a forensic help, a medical help, or a technical help in a particular case. In cases of this online sexual offences, lot of cyber experts are also needed to know whether that document has been tampered and what is the source of that video, that post. So they also need the help of technical team and they can have them for the trial. And when I talk about community vigilance, it is that you have to speak up and you have to say no to any crime. So if there is a person who fears that somebody may be able to use his vulnerability and will force him to do something which is against the law, then that person should speak up. We should never tolerate any kind of trauma, any kind of abuse, because if we start tolerating these kinds of abuses, these kinds of traumas, then the trafficker or the violator thinks that this is a regular routine work, and we are somebody who should or who can be tortured or who can be forced to do something.
In fact, I feel that the stakeholders which we have discussed so far, society has society can play its role more effective than any other stakeholder.
Yes.
So, a change of heart, a kind of empathy towards the people, and zero tolerance for
Right.
human trafficking. This can this can because police has very limited role to very limited information, very limited access, and if the society is not cooperating, the police will also not be able to gather evidence, etc., and reach to the reach out to the victim and apprehend the culprit. So if the society is vigilant and society has zero tolerance towards the human trafficking, then it can play a very significant role in preventing human trafficking.
Yes. And in the name of family honor,
Yeah,
when the
yeah.
parents do not accept their own children or their own, brothers
Yeah,
and
yeah,
sisters,
yeah.
this needs to be taken and
Definitely.
handled by the community. And the community should give them a chance to reintegrate in the community by not looking down upon them, but giving them a chance is very important because we do mistakes, but it does not mean that our own family members will not accept us. So if a crime happens in any area, then we should not look down upon the victim, but we should be at the side of the victim. We should protect the victim. We should be with the victim and get justice for the victim.
Because many times victim is not at fault. He has
Yes.
suffered, and he's when the society does not accept him, society also a kind of uh, society also victimize them by excluding them, by ostracizing them. Then it suffers another jolt. So the victim its suffering increases and he finds no place where to go. So when a crime is committed against a person or somebody has done a mistake, as Dr. Mansi pointed out, it is the duty to help him to rehabilitate, to help him. Society should help him to uh, help him in her rehabilitation.
Yes. So bringing him back into society, reintegrating him in the society is more important and is the duty of the society and the family members. Thank you all for listening, and
Thank
we
you.
will be joining you in the next session on the role of stakeholders in preventing human trafficking. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.